Today's video is going to be short and sweet, but I have to ask, do you know what a tickler system is? Hello, welcome back to the Crafty Organizer. I'm Noreen Burke, and if you're new to my channel, thanks so much for stopping by. And if you're returning, thank you for coming and seeing me again. Today's video is going to be short and sweet, but I have to ask, do you know what a tickler system is? If you do, leave me a comment down below. I'm finding that this is becoming an old-fashioned idea, but I still think it's genius. I used to work in offices as an executive assistant, administrator, office manager, and one of the first things I always did when I started a new position is I would create a tickler system. And I thought about taking them with me whenever I would leave a job, but inevitably I would end up training the person who was taking my place, and they would love the system and want it left behind. So I'd have to create a new one. Now, all a tickler system is a file folder, and it just has a number on it, one number that correlates to each day of the month. And then I would have a second set that had one file for each month of the year. And I would just keep these in the front of a desk, or I would have it in a box on my desk. And it was usually something small like this. It didn't need to be anything big. But here's what I would do. Number one, I loved it because it would look like a calendar. So right away I could see it's April 23rd, the day I'm filming this. As the days go by, I just take the current date and put it behind. So whenever I look at this, it's the current day of the current month. Now here's what's magical about these. This system is put in place so that you don't have to remember anything. So as you're going through paperwork, let's say you have tickets to a play. Now I know so much is digital these days, but if you buy a membership to a community theater or a museum, they send you all of those tickets in advance, one lump. Here's all of your tickets. So you have to remember where to put those. So a tickler system is the perfect thing so you don't have to remember where things are. So the date of each one of your tickets, you can just drop it right into that same date. Day comes, I open it up. Today's the 23rd. What do I have? It's any notes that are happening in here, phone calls I need to make, tickets, whatever's happening on this date comes in. Or the other thing you can do is if you have things coming up that you need to address. I need to make car reservations for a trip we have coming up in the summer. That's something I need to do by the end of this month. So I look at my calendar, I pick the date, and I will drop in my reminder that on the 30th, I have to spend some time making reservations for the car. Now, again, I know these are things that you can put on a calendar, but oftentimes, if you're like me, you've taken notes, and Google Keep is amazing. But I still find that I have little bits and pieces of paper all over the place. And by keeping it in my tickler system, it works in beautiful conjunction with my Google Keep so that I have a place for all of those stray papers. This works great when I have a bill I need to follow up with, or like I'm in a dispute right now with a bill that went on one of my credit cards. I know about when the statement is going to come out. I have that dispute note right in my file folder so that on the date that my statement is released, I remember, did the credit go through? Were there any issues? If it didn't, I'll put it a few more days away so that I have a reminder to follow up on it. This type of system is also great. Have you ever gone to the store and you're not sure if you're going to keep something or not? You can put the receipt 5 or 6 days away, and when the date pops up, you have the receipt and you can decide, am I going to keep that or am I going to return it? It's right in that place. Now let's look at the months files, because oftentimes you know you've got things coming up that are just generic, like birthday cards or an anniversary card, something that you know you need to address. By putting it in that month, as soon as the new month comes, you can peek at the things that are in there and then drop it in the date sensitive file so that you can mail out a card a week before or a few days before. Some other great things that you can use this for is warranties. When they're going to come up, you can go ahead and put it in that month and just from year to year keep extending it so that you can either check the warranty on it or extend it. This is also really helpful for those yearly or semi-annual things like checking batteries and your smoke detector. Again, you can put it on a calendar, and I do this, but I find sometimes when I put it in my actual Tickler system, I'm more apt to actually do it, because if I can't do it today, I can just put my little reminder in a couple days from now, and I can't avoid it if I have to keep moving that piece of paper from day to day. Now the supplies for this are usually pretty inexpensive. You can get the file folders for about $10, and you can also get sheets of labels that you can just put right into your printer, but you could also do something fun on the Cricut, or you can buy stickers to put out the numbers, and you could also just write it with some fun markers. If you're interested in having me mail something like this out to you, leave me comments below. I'd be happy to come up with a solution, and I'm working on a new website so that I can have things like this downloadable for you. I do the numbers so that it is 1 through 30, but 30 is 30 or 31. Now, obviously on months where there's less days, I just go ahead and swap it out. But one file label for each one of the file folders makes it super easy to set up. I also just use the inexpensive manila file folders. These usually come in sets of 100, but if you go into like Walmart or Target or one of your office supply stores, you can usually find a box of 50, which is plenty to set up this system. Another quick technique is I like keeping them all with the same tab placement. This just gives for a nice streamlined look, but if you want to do the third tabs where you've got the right, left, and middle, you can absolutely do that. They also have the 5th cut placement, which means that they're very small, so be aware that you will need a smaller label if you choose that type of tab setup. For me personally, by keeping them all on one side, it just makes it super clean to know which current date I'm on. And did you know if you ever run out of the right or the left, all you have to do is turn the file folder inside out and you'll have additionals of the right or left, which is why those are my favorite. I keep the middle cut for things that are going in my file drawers so that I can just always keep that clean look and not have to worry about them being all over the place. It just is easier for my eye to look. Another fun tip, if you like the fancy file folders, here's a trick I've done. I take just a piece of my 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. I glue it right to the front using my spray adhesive. The strip I cut off that's extra, I place on the inside of my file folder, and then I just carefully cut along the edge so it matches. Now you have a decorative file folder for just a few pennies. Another tip to carry it even further, take some of the heavier duty shipping tape. Duck brand is my favorite, and if they ever want to sponsor me, hello! But Duck brand is my favorite, and then a trick that you can do by putting clear shipping tape over the top, this now acts as a dry erase file, so you can change what's inside if you have categories that are always being updated. Now, something I have to say, this is only as effective as your interaction with it. This really is something that is hugely beneficial if you check it every day. And actually, the more you check it, the more things you'll find to drop in there. Is there a recipe you want to make? You can drop the recipe in for the day that you go grocery shopping. Is there a piece of paper that you'll need for going in with your doctor? Drop it into the day or the day before you go to that appointment, and you'll always be setting yourself up to know exactly where those bits of papers are that you need, but more importantly, when you need them. Again, I wanted to keep this as a super quick video, but please let me know what you think about this. I can't wait to hear if it's a system you've already used, had forgotten about, or if it's something you're willing to try again. It is insanely helpful with those little pieces of paper that we just can't eliminate from our lives yet, so that you know exactly where it's at, and when you need it, you know right where to go. Thank you so much for watching. thanks to my patrons who allow me to make these videos and allow me to keep reaching out and working with viewers like you to get organized. So if you're interested in helping out, my Patreon information is in the description below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in just a few days. Bye!